I can assure you. As much as I love Christopher McQuarrie and I love Sicario as a franchise, and indeed Emily Blunt, Josh Brolin and Benicio del Toro as actors, I can't speak about this for 25 minutes, so this is going to be much shorter. Christopher McQuarrie, he's working on Sicario 3. This is a real head scratcher, because I don't actually know why it's taken so long for us to get a trilogy sort of bookending film in the Sicario franchise. Sicario 1 was a stunning film on so many levels, visually, story-wise, character-wise, acting-wise, directing-wise, everything. The way it was shot, I think it was Roger Deakins. Just a stunning film. Unbelievable film, one of my favourite films of the last 10-15 years. And at the heart of that was Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro and Blunt, the chemistry. And the under sort of lying message it was telling, it was a really, really enjoyable film. The sequel, Day of Soldado, I think it was, Sicario 2, never quite reached the heights of the first film for me, but it was still a hugely enjoyable one. It went off-piste and did something different with the Del Toro character. I think there was a young Mexican kid involved. They were going after them. He protected the kid. I think the kid may have actually been involved and tried to kill him at one point. It's been a while since I've seen it. Never quite scaled the heights of the original, but still a very, very good film, and still featured some of those elements that made the first film so enjoyable. Really good action stuff, interesting characters, visually stunning. Just the right figures around about it. So, as I says, I'm not entirely sure why it's taken them so fucking long to bring out a Sicario 3. It may be that these actors are incredibly busy, and that obviously necessitates, when the movie can be made, scheduling is hugely important when you've got Josh Brolin at that point in the midst of playing Thanos in the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, sort of climatic Infinity Saga stuff, Infinity Wars, Endgame. Benicio del Toro's always an incredibly busy guy at that point, may have just been coming out of filming The Last Jedi. Always busy, always in projects. And obviously, Emily Blunt wasn't even in the fucking second movie, I don't think. That was a huge bugbear for me. We lost that almost humanity there, because Josh Brolin's this wisecracking, sort of cold as ice, super army soldier, to quote Ross Kemp from Extras. And Del Toro's Del Toro, he's this calculating, ruthless guy. Emily Blunt's character was always the emotional linchpin, the human element in the story. And to remove her out, I felt you lost something palpable from that second film. But I digress, you look at it, man, 2018, it's 5 years since we had Sicario, Day of the Soldado. Sicario 1 came out when? 2015, 3 years. So we're already significantly further on in terms of years out of Sicario 2 than we were between Sicario and Sicario 2. Sicario 1 and Sicario 2. We're 5 years deep. We're in some tentative stage of pre-production. There's talk of scripts being rewritten, a final script being submitted to the studio, an interest in the actors and coming back and portraying their roles. But that's all going to take time, man. We're in the middle of an actor's strike. It's not yet reached its conclusion. It could be as late as 2025, 2026 before we actually see this movie in a theatres. And at that point, you're talking 8 years out, 7 years out. That's a long gap, man. And you need to explain that gap in the actual cinematic terms as well. Where the fuck have they been for 8 years? I mean, these guys do age. So it's strange. I don't quite get why they've waited so long to bring out this third and potentially trilogy-defining movie. But regardless of why and the rationale behind it, I'm here and I'm receptive to it. Certainly when this guy's involved. Because this guy's a stunning director. He's really took the Mission Impossible franchise to a new level for me. And it was always a very enjoyable action franchise. Obviously, aided by J.J. Abrams doing a soft reboot in a sense, modernising it, bringing it into the 21st century. And then McQuarrie taking over and giving us, what is that now, 3-4 movies we're deep with him in the Mission Impossible franchise. He's a brilliant director. And I would trust this guy with my life in terms of directing a Sicario movie and getting it right. If my life hinged on him making a success out of it and making a trilogy-defining movie, I think he'd fucking hit it out the park, the ball out the park, that is. So that right off the bat has got me excited and make me more receptive. It's actually as a writer. It's not even a director anyway, but it's a writer, and I'll take that. It's fine. He's the brains behind Mission Impossible. What I say, Rogue Nation. Did he do it? He did Fallout, Dead Reckoning, and then we've also got the next one coming. So that's 4. He's the brains behind that. So I'm on board. I'm receptive to it. Who can we get directing it? They did mention your man from, that's him there, Taylor Sheridan. I always forget the movie he did with Chris Pine and this one here. I love this film so much, man. Ben Foster. I had Ben on the tip of my tongue. I didn't quite get the Foster out in time. What a film this was, man. Unbelievable. Really, really enjoyed it. One of the first films I reviewed when we started the whole Movie Burner entertainment experience. He's an incredible director, man. Incredible writer. He was involved in Wind River, the Jeremy Renner, and obviously Olsen. Fucking blank on her name. Why? Horrendous. It was a great film. Really enjoyed it, man. Stunning film. In Yellowstone. So this guy's a busy guy. This may be another reason why this movie hasn't progressed. If this is the figures they've got in mind to actually pen and direct this film, then they're busy boys. They've got their finger in many pies, and that's also just finding a gap in their schedules is also a big part and when this movie actually progresses. But look, man, the figures involved, very positive so far. The fact they have seemingly got the blessing of the original big actors, 3 actors, Del Toro, Brolin and Blunt, is another huge positive. And I do kind of like it when you take a main character out in the middle part and then bring it back at the end and bookend it all. That's kind of nice. It just feels poetic when we bring it all back, and maybe the humanity shines through again. And Blunt's character can be an important power for good, if you'd like, in this trilogy ending film. I'm assuming it's a trilogy. This is what they had to say, though. The producers, Molly Smith, Trent Luckenbill, said this. Positive update on the film. They're saying a director isn't attached to it yet. I don't know if Taylor Sheridan, he wrote the script in the first 2 and so on. It's me, he's not involved in Taylor. But they address this, we'll get into it. But we don't know who's going to direct yet. It's all going to be about timing. We've got obviously a wealth of great partners on it. Everybody from Taylor Sheridan to Chris McQuarrie as a partner on it. But it'll be about the timing and what aligns with everyone's schedule. They're going to say about Sheridan's involvement, and I think for continuity it's quite important that you do have that voice in there. He's been so aligned with the first 2, you kind of need to keep that voice, that continuity in there. They said this, he's so busy he is, and he stays close to it, and will obviously have input too. That's just sounding like an executive producer role, like what fucking has been done in the likes of Terminator over the years and Lord knows what else, other franchises. I'm thinking Halloween off the top of my head, where you bring in the sort of big hitters and then they just recede back into the fucking background and become an executive producer. Well dodgy. I'm not liking the sound of that. Get Taylor in there, man. Taylor in there. I'm calling him Taylor. His name's Taylor John. Then it's just a question of when we get schedules lined up and all of that starting to have real conversations to see who's available and who wants to do it. So certainly I think everybody that's ever been involved with this has stayed really close and has stayed fans of it. So we'll just push forward and see what lines up and who lines up in our window. So it's intriguing. It's positive. We're seeing movement for this potentially trilogy defining film, potentially franchise bookending film. I just hope that we do get a compelling end to it, that it's not just something that's been done for the sake of it, because the first 2 movies, there's nothing wrong with having a duology of films. Not everything has to be a trilogy. Not everything has to be a connected universe. Certainly not everything has to be a fucking franchise. We can just have singular stories, duologies, and then go off into the summer sun, if you'd like, the sunset. So I just hope they're not forcing this out for the sake of it. I've got enough confidence in Josh Brolin, Benicio del Toro and Emily Blunt to see right through that and just say, nope, we're not being involved with that shit. They're busy people. They're wanted. They're incredibly talented. They don't have to put their name to this if there is no rationale to it. So I think the right people are involved. I think having those 3 intrigued and those 2 guys potentially involved in writing or producing in some level is an important sort of foundation for this film. Also, the director's incredibly important too. So they really need to get that fucking right. But I'm excited for it. Slightly confused why we've not had it already, and I'm moving on.